I looked at him in the eye and he looked me in the eye, and I just screamed like underwater, smear bubbles going everywhere, and then the shark just turned and threw me back from his tail whiplash, and then I was like just screaming and aiming and started swimming again for the rock. Like I knew where it was. It's amazing what your body knows.
Yeah. Instinct, right?
Yeah, and
get the fuck out
get
of
the
that
fuck out of the
water.
water. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I'm like trying to swim for this rock, and I just got a hold of that rock and started trying to claw my way up. Actually, no, I just got a hold of it first, sorry, and then I got pulled back under, feeling 3 or 4 tugs off my leg again. So the shark had come back, got a hold of me, and took my cuff off.
Glenn, my man.
How you doing?
Good, brother. Thank you for coming on the Interchange podcast. So, to give you guys a bit of a rundown, Glenn is a father of 5. He's a gym owner, and I actually happened to meet him on my travels when I started off in Melbourne. Now I'm up almost at Cairns. It's my last couple of days, and I came in for a training session at Survivor Fitness, where Glenn is the owner. I didn't realise at the time as well, but he's also an amputee, and this man has an amazing story of resilience and overcoming the most adversity that anyone has ever faced, I think. So it's definitely piqued my interest, as I have a big fear of sharks, and that's actually how Glenn lost his leg, was to a shark attack from a bull shark. So anyone that's been going swimming in those Gold Coast canals, if this is a warning not to go in there, I don't know what else would be. But anyways, Glenn, appreciate you coming on for a yarn, mate. Really do, especially taking time out of your busy day. As you said, father of 5, business owner.
Yep.
And I saw you kickboxing before here as well.
Yes. Yep. I kickbox. I used to fight Muay Thai. So yeah, I still continue to pursue my passion there, and I've just learned to do everything again after losing my right leg to the bull shark.
Man, it's crazy. So can I just ask first of all, how long ago did the accident take place?
Yeah, so the accident was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was February 2000. I think it was February 18th, 2017. I was out spearfishing off Hinch Brook Island.
Yeah, which you said is close by here, right?
Yeah, that's 45 minutes south of where we are now.
Yeah.
I was going spearing with, my story's going to get pretty deep, actually. I didn't tell you a few other things you'll find out, but...
That's all right. Well, maybe we'll pause there when we talk about the attack, and we'll take it back a little bit before the attack. So prior to the attack taking place, you said you had 2 kids and 1 more on the way?
Yeah, so we had 2, and we had little Aurora on the way. She was, my wife was 13, when we were, she was only 5 months from giving birth, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, and you were training for your 6th kickboxing fight as well at the time?
Yes, 6th Muay Thai fight, and I was just getting into my semi-professional stage. So.
Okay, so growing up, were you always a fighter, or was this something that sort of came across later in life?
I was always into sport. I was always into fitness. That was just my major outlet in life, and I loved it. And I went through, from swimming, I played footy, done gridiron. I was just always... AFL was the main thing because my dad got me into it from youth, and he's from Victoria.
So big down in Victoria, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I continued to love sports, but I needed to find the sport that really worked for me. I was good at what I'd done, but to excel, I was best when it came to finding a martial art. And I found Muay Thai. I'm better at doing things on my own.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though we have training partners and we train together and we're like family, but in the end of the day, once you get in that ring, it's just you and your opponent, and I love that.
I think that I can connect with you on that, because I've done a bit of boxing, I've had a few fights, and there's no greater feeling, and I'm sure that you probably compare this to spearfishing as well, but like no greater feeling than being in that ring, because it's just you and yourself, and it's like that instant flow state, right?
Yeah. It's up to you to overcome and win that battle, and I love it. It's like a violent game of chess, but like that for me is that I love it. It gives me every bit of thrill, and every bit of happiness, and winning and overcoming. Or I've only had 1 loss. I had 4 wins, so I had a good start.
Not bad start there, bro.
Yeah, not bad start. I was a pretty aggressive fighter. I really loved it. I wanted to keep going, but life had other plans for me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you were prepping for your 6th fight at this stage. How old were you? So it was 6 years ago, right?
6 years ago, yep. So I was, where are we at now? I'm like 32 now. So yeah, I was 25 when I was going for my 6th fight. I was just moved to Mission Beach. I was from Cairns.
Okay, yeah. So you grew up in Cairns?
Yep, grew up in Cairns. And then me and my wife were going for a bit of a change in life. I was going through a pretty severe bout of depression,
Okay.
and work wasn't doing too well regarding I was a Boilermaker tradesman.
Okay, so that's what you did prior to owning the gym?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I done prior, and it was getting really quiet in Cairns. It wasn't the best economy at the time for Boilermakers, so it was. I had to left the job I was at, and then we decided together that we wanted to have a bit more support, and this is where Jesse's mum lives.
That's your partner?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
And so we decided to make the move and change our lives a bit and came to Mission Beach.
Yeah. And so moving to Mission Beach, what was the adjustment like for you coming from Cairns, which I would say isn't a greatly big city, but obviously bigger population than Mission Beach, right?
Yeah, yeah. Still busy enough for me. I don't really like busy, especially after, being here in Mission Beach. I realize this is the best place for me. I like quiet. I love the place where everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, almost like a community feel, right?
Yeah, community spirit. I love that. So, no, it was good. I came here. I still hadn't. I was still trying to battle my depression here. It wasn't like over because we moved, but it was a good point in the right direction. Although, like right up to before my attack, I was in a pretty bad way.
Yeah.
But
Can we touch on that a little bit?
yeah.
So how long have you been suffering with depression or mental health issues in general?
I guess I think from my youth coming up to as an adult, I didn't learn everything correctly through my parents, how to solve problems properly, and I found out I was recently diagnosed with ADHD as well. So a lot of things now make sense to me now that didn't back then.
Yep.
And so I've really, really grown as a person ever since. But yeah, getting at that point, it was just I didn't see, we could have a beautiful day, everything could really be really nice, everyone around me is having a good time, my family could be playing on the beach, but I just couldn't seem to find, happiness or joy, or I just couldn't even see it no matter how I wanted to look.
Yeah.
It was a dark space.
Yeah.
So, to come out of that after what I've been through was a huge game changer for my life, and it made me want to live rather than live in the darkness and not exactly want to continue living.
Yeah, man, that's a really hard place to be when the only thing that you can see as an out is completely ending it, right?
Yeah.
So mental health is something that I'm pretty passionate about also. I struggled a little bit when I was younger. I've had a lot of friends that have struggled with mental health as well.
Yeah.
But then coming into the attack taking place, right, you were in a dark place already.
Yes.
Was spearfishing almost like your release,
Yeah, that definitely was. I fell in love with spearfishing. Uncle Rick Patua was a master diver of the American Navy, and he was a local here in Mission Beach.
Yeah, and is that who taught you to?
That he taught me to spear, and I taught him Muay Thai, so it was just a trade of services.
Yeah.
I got in the water and then getting down. I just love the challenge, first of all, because I'm always into challenge and sports.
Of course.
And getting down deep and laying on the bottom it's just so quiet. It's just beautiful. It's just serene. It takes all the troubles you've got in your life away while you're down there. And you're just there in an environment where, you're hunting for one, but you're also challenging yourself, and you find, clarity down there.
It's giving you all the stuff, right? All the things.
Yeah.
Ticking all the boxes.
It is, but I mean, you can never fix obviously mental health with just one thing. But it was definitely just my escape at the time. Enjoyment, but also escape. And that's when my life changed dramatically.
Yeah. So thinking back to that now, and obviously that being your escape, with what transpired, I guess how long was after you started spearfishing that this happened?
I was only 8 months in to spearfishing.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was being trained by probably one of the best in Australia.
Yeah.
If not around the world. But yes, it was still an ongoing battle regardless of that. But I continue to fight, continue to try. I never give up easy.
Yeah, so like I said before, always been a fighter then.
Yeah, always been a fighter, yeah.
So can we go back then to the day that obviously this took place? So you said it was the 18th of February?
2017,
Yeah, can you recall the events up until the point and run through exactly what sort of happened, obviously, to whatever feels comfortable for you, man?
Yeah, that's fine. So Rick took me to a new spot, so I've never been down Cardwell Way spearfishing before.
Cardwell, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cardwell, yep. And Hinch Brook Island was the island we were spearing off. And I met a couple of lads that day. It was 4 of us going in the water, Peter and Aaron. And we went out and we paired in twos into diving. And the day was just absolutely pristine. And I was driving with Rick to the place. I was driving him there. And I asked him a funny question. I said, do you ever worry about sharks on that morning?
Yeah.
And
Just quickly, have you had a fear of sharks prior to this?
No, I didn't. I had no fear of sharks.
I've got to say, man, it's literally like, so heights and sharks are 2 things I was scared of the most.
Yeah.
So having that conversation with you this morning, I was like,
Yeah.
that's definitely piquing that interest and piquing the fear even more, you know?
Yeah. And so we were going to a few spots, and we got to the spot called Eva Rock, which is just off the island, and it's like a huge rock crescent out of the water, going about 25 meters down.
Wow.
And we split into 2. 2 went on the other side of the rock. Rick and Pete went on the other side of the rock, and then me and Aaron. So, I mean, first of all, I didn't know Aaron that well. Peter was friends with Rick, so that was a bit different for me. But
yeah, so it was already out of the comfort zone.
Already out of the comfort zone. But I was still enjoying it, still loving it. Getting down there, you know, I was actually a bit hungover on the day too. So I even spewed in the water, I remember. and I saw Aaron come up, and he'd shot a mangrove jack, and or a reef jack, and he was heading off back to the boat, and I really should have went with him, but we get.
When you're spearfishing and you're in pairs, is that generally what you'll do? You'll travel together?
Yes. Yeah. We have it's supposed to be a 1 up, 1 down rule. One's always watching over the other.
Yeah. So you got like a spotter.
Yeah, and you stay in pairs, and that was always the usual. But in this instance, in this case, it was unusual, and I was with a partner I didn't usually dive with, and I just decided to go on myself, dive while he was returning the fish. I thought he'd be back in a sec, you know. And I will just hopefully get the same, you know, I'd love to get a jack myself. So I got excited, dove nice and slowly to the bottom, nice and relaxed. I got all down 25 meters, just sat on the bottom, everything felt good, dive felt good. Looked around, I couldn't see the fish that I thought I'd saw, but I saw a darkness of the shape of the fish underneath this rock. And I was like, that's got to be him. I thought I saw some predator teeth, so I thought that might be a jack or something. Could only see the darkness, couldn't see the actual whole fish. And I shot. Unfortunately, it was more of a tusk fish than the fish I wanted. So either way, I've shot it. I've got to bring it in and then start coming up and, you know, put the fish at ease and get to surface. So I was on my way up, and I'd shot the fish just behind the head.
Yeah.
And
so what kind of fish was it, sorry?
It was, so it's not a parrotfish, it was a parrotfish, not a tusky fish, which is, the tusky would have been nice, but no, parrot's crap.
Yeah.
But either way, you know, I wasn't going to waste him. So I was heading up slowly, and because I shot it just behind the back of the head, not where it should have, he was making a lot of noise. He was shuddering around, shuddering around, swimming around me, starting to wrap me up with
bringing attention.
Yeah, and we know that's going to bring attention, but you know, you can only stay calm and you can only stay focused. And he was just swimming around me, so I had to turn with him to try and stop him tangling me up in my own line.
Right.
And I'd finally got a hold of the spear and pulled the spear towards myself. I grabbed hold of the fish, pulled my knife out of my leg, and proceeded to put it into the fish. As soon as I put that knife in that fish, I just immediately felt like I just got hit by a truck. This force just came out of nowhere, and it just was crazy. I was getting thrown around. I knew my leg was I knew I was being attacked. You know, subconsciously, just straight away, you're like, I'm getting attacked by a shark. What else could it be?
Yeah. But at this point in time, you hadn't seen it. You were still just in disbelief.
No idea the shark was even in the area, and I was screaming and getting thrown around, and you know, everything just kind of went. My body tried to start swimming, and escape, just natural trying to survival skills, and I all of a sudden could move again. So the shark actually had swallowed my whole leg, and 360 circumferential bite tried to chew my leg off, but couldn't get through my bone. So it had to regurgitate my leg, and I managed to start swimming again. So yeah, I was screaming, I was freaking out. I just was
Underwater.
all underwater. My brain knew that the rock was nearby. So I managed to get to the surface and tried hard to go towards the rock. And on that way, everything was going in real slow motion. Time just slowed right down.
Like when you say slow motion, it's almost like that near-death experience where everything is just like your whole life flashing before your eyes type of thing.
Yeah, that didn't happen just yet. It was still survival.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. You don't have that yet. It's trying to get out of there and survive first. So your body's just in adrenaline and it's just going. And I was swimming to this rock and I knew I was badly damaged, but the pain is not there because it's so severe.
Yeah.
And it was straight through my nerves and my leg. Yeah. So I couldn't feel anything there. I just felt like there was just a big thing like my leg was a big dead weight hanging off me.
Yeah.
I knew it was bad, but all I knew is if I'm going to survive this, it's to get on a rock. And I swam for that rock, but on the way over to the rock, I just had to, I was like, my brain went, where's the shark? And how bad's my leg? So I stopped to look down and it felt like I just looked at a burst watermelon and then the area was just filling up with blood that fast. It was crimson red. Vision was just completely about to go. And then straight then that shark just came in right next to me.
Hey, hello. Sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I just wanted to quickly jump on and tell you about the must-have personal development tool for 2023, and it's called the Happier, Healthier You Journal. So I'll take you back to about 6 years ago. I'd just gotten out of jail for the last time and was starting my journey of personal development and growth. There was heaps of gurus, heaps of information available, but so much so that it became confusing. So I came up with the Happier, Healthier You Journal to help you to navigate what can be an absolute minefield. From the very get-go, you open the page and it'll challenge you to dive deep with self-assessments, daily activities and check-ins to figure out exactly where you're at, where you'd like to be. And then from there, the journal becomes the tool to help you to bridge that gap. So to get your hands on this, click on the link below and don't forget to use Interchange 10 at checkout for a cheeky 10% off. I'll see you back over on the episode.
I looked at him in the eye and he looked me in the eye and I just screamed like underwater, swimming bubbles going everywhere, and then the shark just turned and threw me back from his tail whiplash, and then I was like just screaming and aiming and started swimming again for the rock. Like I knew where it was. It's amazing what your body knows.
Yeah.
And
Get the fuck out
of the water. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I'm like trying to swim for this rock, and I just got a hold of that rock and started trying to claw my way up. Actually, no, I just got a hold of it first, sorry, and then I got pulled back under, feeling 3 or 4 tugs off my leg again. So the shark had come back, got a hold of me, and took my cuff off. And luckily, it took that clean. I couldn't feel anything; the nerves were gone. I just knew that like it hit me again. Right. And so I got back on the rock, and I just started clawing my way up and trying to scream, but the fear was too high. It's like night terror.
There's just no
you can't make the sound. You just, you're alone in the water. You feel like that's it. But I just thought if I have any chance, I get on this rock, and I started clawing up there, and I tried to make sound, and the boys said it sounded like a seagull after I found out that they're like, I could hear a weird sound.
Yeah.
And then I found out later on that Rick actually had seen me getting attacked by the shark. So he said he saw me just moving around the water like a human couldn't.
Yeah.
And he knew I was getting attacked. And when I yelled out, I saw him go, fuck, fuck, fuck. He knew that I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And then I passed out on the rock.
So you're out of the water at this stage?
Yeah, I'm out of the water. I thought I got up high enough where I was out of the water from the shark, but actually found out later on that I was halfway still in the water. Wow. So I was lucky.
When the boys grabbed you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they said that it was probably about 45 seconds to a minute in time from them they got in the boat and came around. The anchor came straight off the bottom. They luckily didn't even have to cut the anchor.
Yeah.
And came straight around to pick me up. They said when they came around the side of the rock, all they saw was a white as ghost body and half of it in the water and crimson red. They thought they were going to pull out half a body. Yeah. One of them said, I don't know if it's his nightmares, he said all they saw was me smiling on a rock at him. And they just rushed over to pull me in, and I woke up as they were lowering me back in the boat. Yeah, and I was smiling because I knew I was out of the water for one.
That's it. You just like, I've survived this experience.
Subconsciously I knew that I was thinking I was going to get balled up. So balled up by sharks.
Yeah.
Because once one goes, they all go.
in.
And I thought that I was just going to get ripped apart. But
Was this the first experience you'd had with the shark when spearfishing?
no, I've seen them plenty.
Okay.
Quite regularly out here off Mission Beach, we see big bull sharks.
Right.
I've probably
And
seen
what's a
them
big
nearly
bull shark?
3.5 meters. That's what they say scientifically. Rick has been in the water for, he's an ex-master diver. So he was the highest rank in the American Navy.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
he's done, done 700-meter dives, just mines. He's just lived in the water his whole life. He reckons he's seen them up to 4 meters.
Wow.
And they just get fat. They got really fat heads.
Yeah.
Really big fat bodies. So yeah,
And you were in the water eye to eye with this thing.
yeah.
At that point in time, bro, obviously, like, I understand if you don't remember because of the pain and the experience and the adrenaline, but what was going through your head when you came eye to eye with this thing, knowing that, like, this thing's grabbed you? What was the thoughts going through your head at this point in time?
There was no thought. I mean, the fear is too high. The body is still survival, so it's just like scream. I was lucky it turned. I thought it was going to turn into me and grab my head, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it just turned the other way, so it must have, still been a bit unsure of what I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he still did come back and get me. So,
We mustn't have tasted too bad.
those people that say sharks don't like eating humans, I mean, why would it come back if it didn't like me very much? So
Yeah.
and then I remembered once I was on the boat and Rick was talking to me and he was just straight away into action. The other guys were frozen. One was frozen. One was spewing out the back.
You were conscious at this point in time.
Yeah, conscious and just trying to adrenaline was crazy, too high. I was just trying to calm myself and trying to really go into survival mode. But that came as I first experienced the first part of passing. So once we were moving and the boat was moving, Rick was getting tourniquets on, trying to talk to me. As we're going along, like he was banging me on the chest, trying to keep me awake. I was there's not heaps of thought going on at that stage. The pain was deferred, so because the nerves were cutting my leg from an old back injury, I was getting all the pain through my lower back.
Wow.
And that was extreme. And
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt again, but if you're liking what you see so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Remember, all your support is really appreciated, and I'll see you back over on the episode.
was just starting to go cold. Yeah. So as we were going along, I started getting colder and colder up my body. And then when the coldness started reaching my lungs, my breath started getting shallower and shallower. So the cold was just my organs shutting down and everything shutting down. And it just got to a point where I was extremely tired, extremely cold, and my body it stiffened up. I had no control. I just felt it stiffen up. My head went back. And my eyes, I don't know if they rolled the back of my head. They must have. And then the big white light started coming over me, and everything went calm, and it was like I was going to sleep. And I knew what that was.
Yeah.
I knew what that was. I knew that.
So you still had the consciousness to understand this is what's going on.
Yeah, I had the consciousness to know I was dying.
Yeah.
And that was about to die. And I went into that death, that death, when I went into it, and all of a sudden there's another mind or something going on, and my daughter came into my head, Lila, and she said, Daddy, come home, and to me in my mind was I just want to go home and say goodbye at least, at least get a chance to get home. And just say goodbye to my wife and my kids. I knew I didn't even know if I was going to say. I
Goosebumps, bro.
probably was never going to say goodbye to my kids at that stage.
Yeah.
And with her saying that to me, I went into fighter mode. So went into that fight mind, and you know, the easier part would have been dying, because it's just kind of like I would have went to sleep.
Yeah.
But I chose instead that I'd treat it like the 5th round of a fight where you've got nothing left and you're out of tank.
That money minute.
And yeah, that money minute, and you're about to go back in, and you're like, shit, how am I going to do this round, you know? And that's just how I was anyway. So that mindset came in, and as soon as that decision was made, I just back to my body.
Yeah.
And it was like, shit, okay, this is real. I've been attacked by a shark. This is real.
Yeah.
And it's time to try and survive. So it was like, okay, don't look at the wound, things that I knew, you know, being a trainer and being trained in first aid and stuff.
Yeah.
Just don't look at the wound, don't look at the wound, don't go on the shock, slow your blood pressure down so we're not spitting it all out too quickly, so I don't die too quickly. And talking to Rick, and he's using, and when I say tourniquets, he wasn't putting tourniquets on me, they were dive belts. So
Yeah.
he put his dive belt on, he couldn't pull enough slack in it, he couldn't put it tight enough.
You couldn't pull it tight enough.
Yeah, so he got mine. Mine was a bit tougher,
Yeah.
newer. He put that right on. That was enough. As soon as he got that on tight enough, I came back to like a little bit of talking,
Yeah.
and a little bit of life back in me. A little bit of colour came back in.
So you're lucky you had Rick there, bro.
Yes, I'm super lucky.
What a guy.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really, really deep with Rick, but we'll go to that soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you're on the boat. You're obviously off the mainland. How far off the mainland?
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Travel on the boat off mainland. That felt like forever. It
Yeah.
felt like absolutely forever. The boat room was a big aluminium boat. It bounced hard. My lower back was just like, I just kept asking Rick, like, pull me up, put me on my side, like,
Yeah.
help me. Like, this is, I can't, like, everything was through my spine.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just talking to me, saying, we're going to get you home. We're going to go see your family. You're going to go home. And that was like the main theme of talking and giving me motivation to stay alive.
Yeah. Just keeping you in the moment, right? Just
Yeah.
keeping you there.
And then I don't remember the other. They lost me 6 times in total out of this whole.
In the boat.
4 on the boat, 2 in the helicopter. But yeah.
And so the helicopter was waiting for you back.
Wasn't there yet, no.
Right.
So yeah, we were racing into the harbour, and at Cardwell, when it gets to low tide in there, you can't get in to the port.
Wow.
Because it's too muddy and
Yeah.
shallow. So we were just coming in on low tide. They thought I was dead at the stage. I don't have any memories much of my other losses where they lost me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like passed and came
Just in and
back
out sort of thing, right?
Yeah. And they 10 minutes coming in, they thought that I'm gone, and that I'm not going to make it. The boys said to me afterwards, they told me they didn't think I was going to make it. But yeah, we got in. They said we're 10 minutes. Like when they told me, like something was faintly keeping me there.
Yeah, bro.
And, before I know it, like we're in the port and there's an ambulance there. They end up pulling everyone because they're not used to shark attacks around here. So like, by the end of it, there's fire, there's an ambulance, everyone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the ambo that was there, Martin, he brought me back he didn't have blood, but he had saline solution.
So just giving you fluids.
Just got fluids, and
Yeah.
I pumped enough of what the blood I had in me enough to keep me alive. And the doctors said they thought I should have died. They're surprised I survived. The only thing they could put it down to was the fitness.
That fighter, bro.
Yeah, that fighter, but also the fitness. The fact that I could have small amount of blood, the more mitochondria in the blood cells.
Yeah.
So the more thicker and nutrient that my blood is, so it kept my organs alive enough for long enough.
Wow. So you obviously got back to the harbour, and at this point in time, like as you said, you passed 6 times between this period. You got airlifted out.
Yep.
And then from there, you're in hospital recovering.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Do you remember
So
waking up in hospital? What was the first thought?
yeah. So I'll go to the helicopter arriving. So the helicopter, we first so Rick came in. It took an hour to stabilize me. Once they stabilized me with paramedics and everything, when they finally gave me the green stick, got a little bit of pain relief. I came back to. I pulled all the shit out of me because I was freaking out.
This is in hospital or in the
This is as they're treating me on land.
Oh, wow.
And pulled everything out, and then they're trying to restrict me, put me back down, put everything back in me, get me on the helicopter. Again, another military bloke was the pilot in the chopper. He said no one's coming aboard, but then Rick said he's who he is, and he said you're coming. And boom, they got me on there, which is great because I said I want Rick. I remember saying I want Rick. And we got on, we got up, we flew, and they lost me 2 times on the way to the hospital. I was tripping balls on that trip because they finally started giving me some good stuff. So I was out of body experiences with that ketamine and stuff. So that was crazy. I went up to space and I was diving back in the ocean for some reason, with no spear gun. And then all of a sudden I was back in my body again, and I'm like, give me some more. She said, no, if I do, you'll die. I said, all right, well, then we just kind of got through that, and she just gave as much as she could until we arrived down at sorry. As we arrived at the hospital, landing, they said we're landing, so I was like, I can make this.
You were in there. You were still there.
I was still there. I just found and believed I can make it, and as soon as that belief came in, I was, the drugs were good. And I started, and this is how they called me Survivor, a Glen Dickson Survivor, is because I started singing the Survivor song once we landed. Because I was like, I'm gonna survive.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah, I'm a survivor. Yeah. So
that's your theme song now.
That's it. Yeah. So my mom and my dad were there. So,
at the hospital.
At the hospital as I arrived down.
That's so sick, dude.
Yeah, and they were, they got horror on their faces.
Of course.
But I was all cool, calm, collected, busting jokes and stuff. So that's just the way I am. I found, you really find out. I thought I was tough, but you don't know until you do something like this. And then
now you know you're fucking tough.
Now I realize I am tough. I can, when you're in that type of situation and busting jokes, even though I'm dying. That's a good way I want to go out. But no, it wasn't end. I had to get in the hospital. They took me straight into emergency surgery. My wife just arrived. Well, it wasn't my wife at the time, but my partner, Jessie Lee, she just arrived as I was going straight in for surgery. And I tried to give her a kiss. She was just freaking out. She was just like, keep your mask on because I had an oxygenator on. And then they sent me in, and she realized at the time that I was possibly asking for the last kiss. She didn't know how bad I actually was. Because they told her that I just was attacked by a shark. She thought I'd just been bitten by a small shark
like
or
a
something.
nibble or something like that.
But not realizing how the severity of the attack.
Wow.
So 1 week later, I wake up out of a coma. And I look down.
Induced, obviously.
Induced a coma to keep me alive, and stop the shock. And I had to do the surgery and everything. And I woke up looking down the bed. And my sister and my Jessie Lee were there next to me, my woman, and they were talking to me funny. They said like, "Hey, going?" And they didn't know if I remembered everything or anything. And the first thing I said is that scared the shit out of me. And so then they're like, "Oh shit, he remembers it."
He remembers it, yeah.
And
bro.
Then I proceeded to be told that my leg was amputated. I thought I still had it because I saw a clipboard on the bed and I was off my face. But no, the leg was gone, and it was time to start learning that I'm going to live. And then it was, okay, what's the next step? Physio turned in, for me, I just turned it into exercise. I started training, straight away. It was like 2 weeks after.
What was the thoughts initially when you found out you've just lost your leg, right? This is like a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever a point there where you were like, oh, fuck? Like, especially coming from where you were with your mental health prior to this to now, having like a severe impingement to your body.
Yeah, no, I was just thankful. I knew what had happened to me, and death was the only, I just got out of death. So to lose a leg was not really, I was just stoked to be waking up.
Take my arm as well, I'm still alive.
I was just stoked to wake up, and then to be like, sweet, I'm here to live. And then I had to come to acceptance in terms of the fact I'm missing a limb. I had to go through grieving with the limb. I had to understand my new life. I thought, I was such an athlete, and to go from that to now I'm disabled. And when they hand you a prosthetic leg, you're not like, oh yeah, sweet, put that on. It's like, what the fuck is that? And what do you want me to do with it? You know, it's just and it's painful. You know, just trying to get it onto a wound in the first place, and then start walk with it. Yeah, that was then. You know, challenges were just starting. Yeah. Challenges were just starting after that, and but I'd already made a decision. You know, I made a decision to myself in the hospital that if I was to stop training and stop doing what I love, I was already dead. So for me, it was whatever I'll do whatever it takes. I will train the weakest part of my body to become the strongest if I have to, if that's what's going to take to get back.
Yeah.
And that was just my mind moving forward. A week later, you know, as I said, a week later, we're doing physio.
A week after the attack.
A week after coming out of the coma. Sorry, a week after the coma. So it's 2 weeks after the attack. But into physio, you know, first thing they wanted me is they said sit from there to there, and I done it straight away. And they said, well, we haven't actually had anyone do that, and especially after the severity of the injury. So you tell me to do something, I'll do it. And that was just my approach, like for everything. I had a disregard for my own pain because pain was already just part of it, you know. So it was what has to be done. If it's gonna be painful, whatever. It's just part of life. Like And that was it. I went like that from step to step, and you go, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to do this at first.
Yeah.
But
that's what I want to ask you, actually. So with that, like, obviously you would have thought there was limitations, right?
Yeah.
And when those limitations were there, how long did it take you to overcome those? And what was the thing that you used within yourself to be like, fuck this, I'm doing it?
Just day by day, diligent, taking a step forward. Like
just one small thing.
One small thing. Yeah. And that was just getting in my wheelchair and fucking going and wheeling up a big steep hill that's up the road from us.
Yeah.
God, cry up the top of that, and then, you know, get it all out, wheel my ass back home.
Yeah, bro.
And that was a daily basis until I joined the local gym.
Yeah.
And I started going there every day. And then Rick, he said, I got a job for you. You got to try and get 50 pull-ups in a row. So I said, all right, let's do that. So I started doing that, and I got up to about 45 in a row, unbroken, until it was going to be take over the whole of my training regime. So I left that.
Upper body was a beast.
yeah. I still pull ups always regularly till now. I never stopped doing them.
I love that, man.
Yeah. And it was just a matter of we moved. I got out of hospital. We were adapting to our new life, and we moved back to Mission Beach after a year of recovery and rehabilitation.
So the whole family moved with you to, where was the hospital, in Cairns? Or?
In Cairns, yeah. So all that was done behind the scenes. Australia got on board. You know, thankfully, because no one else wanted to help me, and Centrelink and all that deemed me not disabled.
Bro.
And so I made a decision that you got to do this on your own. You know, I'd been helped in my life a lot when I get stuck by my dad, and this was a growing point for me where it was stop being a victim and start just being a man and start. You know, everyone can try and help you and pull you out of a hole, but if you don't put the effort in to reach them halfway, or at least, no one can help you. You know, like, people can only do so much for you. In the end of the day, it's you, yourself, and your mind.
You got to help yourself, brother.
Yeah, you got to help yourself. So that was the way I approached it. And before I knew it, I'm like learning to try and box again. But my old Muay Thai gym, they raised a lot of money for me, and I got back into training with them.
Yeah.
And
what was it like getting back into kickboxing after obviously having an injury like this? It would have been like completely changing everything.
It was super tough.
Learning to walk again.
Super tough, super tough. Pain was always there, you know, this thing hurts. It's like an ongoing challenge. It's still a challenge. But it was just like sitting there doing nothing was worse than going there and experiencing pain and doing something I love.
Yeah. When you say the pain, is that like the phantom pain you're talking about?
Oh, I've got a mix of both, but no, like nerve pain, spur, like a bone spur on the end of there. It's like soft bone. It's not used to being like it is.
Yeah.
It's all been closed off. You got huge scars going all the way up. So you're trying to, like, you know, navigate that and try and chuck a leg on, and, you know, you go from walking 10 minutes to trying to walk half an hour. That's where it started. I couldn't, you know, walk very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just...
Was that because of the pain?
Yeah, pain, but you get completely fatigued.
Yeah.
It's 80% harder to walk just in general for an amputee, especially above knee amputee. So that's painful in itself and highly fatiguing in itself. And then the socket itself also causes damage to your own skin when you're highly active too.
Yeah.
So there's just all some of the normal challenges I had to face, but just didn't stop me. I had to believe in myself, and Australia was very supportive. Everyone was very supportive. That gave me extra drive to just do more, and so I did.
Having the people behind you.
Yeah.
Kept you going, man.
Yeah, it did.
I
It did.
love that. And now you've got another 3 kids.
Yep.
Another 3 kids. You've been married.
Yep.
You've got your own gym here as well, man. And obviously your story alone is going to be something that's inspiring so many other people, but now you're also inspiring other people to make changes in their lives and have a positive outcome for themselves with Survivor Fitness, right?
Yep. Survive Fitness came about. Like, I moved to Mission and said, what are we going to do with ourselves? And obviously we weren't going to get the support from the government or anyone to go forward. So obviously I had to work, and I didn't want to just be the disabled guy and let my wife work, especially we've got kids.
Yeah, man.
So I just got up and being a man and was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to put every last cent into this business, because that's what I've done my whole life. I've been a personal trainer and I've been into fitness my whole life, and it's got me through so much shit in my life.
Fuck yes, bro. I can connect with that a lot.
Yeah,
man.
so I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to do what I love. This is my dream. My dream was to have my own gym. And it all started with like a little rental shop just near a couple doors down, and it, went from I was going to run a Muay Thai gym, but I kind of saw there was no real good gym here in Mission Beach.
Yeah.
So just business-wise, I saw the opportunity there, and I love doing weights as well. So I was like, you know what, I'll do a half-half. And
I'm going to say as well, I trained at the facility this morning, and fucking killer facility, bro. You got the bags, you got the equipment, you got everything, the vibe. The whole no dickhead sort of thing, bro. Like, it's great. It's a fucking amazing gym, bro.
Thank you.
You've done an amazing job.
I really appreciate it.
Honestly, bro.
I don't stop. I keep trying to improve everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I don't do this just for money. I do this for pleasure.
Yeah.
And making a great facility.
Money's just a byproduct of that, right?
Exactly. So they just come in hand in hand. So. There was that, and then it's like, I learned to kickbox again. I learned to kick on the leg first. That was hard, just trying to pivot, rotate, and turn. And at first I didn't even think about it, but I was hitting the bag one day, just boxing. I was like, maybe I can kick. Like, I was on tiles at home in the back of my house.
Yeah.
And
so like posting with this leg and kicking with your left?
Yeah.
So were you southpaw or orthodox prior?
I was a righty. Yeah. But I could fight in both stances. I was very good off my switch leg.
Yeah.
So that.
Wish I could say the same, bro.
Yeah.
I try and kick and just like kick the bottom of the bag, my ankle hurts.
The old switch is a bit harder for a lot of people.
That's why I box, bro. There's not as many moving parts.
Yeah. There's a lot more involved. But it was just my drive and passion. I love martial arts. I love Muay Thai. I love fighting. It really just gave me something inside of myself that gave me gratification. Knowing I'm achieving something that I really enjoy doing, and I'm competitive. Beating other people is self-fulfilling in itself. Yeah. I just always wanted to be at the top. So.
Would you say a big part of this was that competitive streak that you had within yourself, where you weren't going to let yourself lose? You just wanted to keep pushing, obviously make sure that you won.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just can't lose. Like you only lose if you give up.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't give up, and I just taken that step forward. So now where we're at, we're like 6 years after post-attack. I've gone from a small gym to a big gym.
How long ago did you guys move to this facility? Because
just last year.
It's killer.
Just last year. And we had to face adversity there too. Like someone moved in, an investor arsehole moved in, took over the place we were before, and tried to charge like city rates for the place, and said, over double our rent. And that was just going to shut us down.
Yeah.
So we just got really lucky. Like the guy who owned the shed ended up contacting me, and we just went into works, and before I knew it, we're like, at our last 10 grand in the business, going, how are we going to do this? And we just made it happen. And before we knew it, we're thriving again. And we're even better. We're in a better position. We're paying less rent. We're thriving in Mission Beach, and I'm giving the community something that it just didn't ever had before. And the quality standard I want to bring is that city standard.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like life gives us these curveballs, and like even though you fall down a little bit, you never fall back down to where you were before. You always continue to grow, right?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I was depressed. I had depression. I definitely don't have depression anymore.
I was gonna say, so like almost like this shark attack literally fixed that for you.
Yep, completely. Just brought me back to life. Gave me reason again. And
I'm not recommending people to go get bitten by a shark.
No, definitely not.
Issues,
definitely
right?
not.
Just
but
quietly.
I think maybe just doing something. big and doing something that's going to take a lot is the way to do it.
Okay.
You have to do a big move to get out of it.
Yeah. So have you got any suggestions for people that might be struggling with that mental health side of things, that might be stuck in, addiction or even in depression or whatever it might be, whatever they're struggling with?
Don't look at the big picture. Don't look at the mountain. Look at the small. Look at the step.
Start with a grain of sand, right?
Yeah, start with a grain of sand. You look too big, it looks too big.
Yeah.
And it will overwhelm you, and that will make you feel like you might give up, or it might make you relapse, or might make you go down that other path. Whereas if you just take those steps, before you know it, you build something you didn't know you were ever going to be able to do. And so that's my advice for someone. And if you don't like your situation, you don't like what you're doing, you don't like your job, you don't like the position you're in your life, you've got to make sacrifices that are making you uncomfortable to do it.
I think that's, really relevant, right? It's like you said, like make the sacrifices, but get uncomfortable. Yeah, because even though where you're at, you're not happy there, you're comfortable there for most people. This is why they stay stuck, right?
Yeah.
And they're not willing to step out of that comfort zone. I mean, as kids, we get told, don't do anything that makes you what?
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
I learned a lot of things, and don't push it uphill. If you're not good at something, you don't have to be great at it, for one.
How is that positive parenting, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I feel like with the generation from us where we are now, like previous generations, they don't know any better.
No.
No.
And they were told it was just like, this has to be, even if you're bad at it, that's it, you have to drill it until you get good at it, or so on and so forth. No, like, I have ADHD, I suffered learning in school. I didn't know this when I was younger, but I thought there was something wrong with me because I had learning difficulties. But when I loved something and enjoyed something, I got really good at it, and I was very good at it.
Yeah, that hyper-focus, right?
Yeah, hyper-focus and being physically gifted helped a lot too. And that's what, like, it was hard because back then I used to feel really bad because I was not good at anything. There's something wrong with me, and I was always second guessing myself, and no one to guide me about it. And it wasn't until I got to my age at 32, now I've finally learned that no, you should actually, if your passion and something you love, you should chase that, and you should figure out how to make that something as your income in your life that will help you balance your life out.
100%.
And because, it's never always great. There's always going to be shit. There's always going to be something to hit you along the way, but it's our ability to just adapt and overcome. And the fact that you've experienced something hard already before makes the next one seem not as hard.
It's like easier, right?
It's easier, but it's not actually easier. It's just your ability to deal with it.
Your resilience, right? You build that resilience. There's a saying, I think Matthew McConaughey says it in his book, Greenlight. Have you read that?
Yeah.
Great book, man. And there's something that he says, and I say it all the time. I'm pretty sure I said it on this podcast, like every episode. Yeah. But it's like, life's going to be hard, right? We're always going to step in shit. We just get better at scraping the shit off our shoes.
That's it. That's a really good saying. I love it.
I love it, bro. It just literally hits the nail on the head, man.
Yeah, it's so true. And, it doesn't have to be as complex as you think it's going to be. It's not as big a deal. It's not the mountain. It's just the first step.
Start small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what would be a first step for someone if you had someone that you knew that would be struggling with mental health or something like that? What would be a suggestion that you'd give them for that first step?
Yeah, personal note, mental health. One of my real close friends killed himself at the start of the year, and that was really tough. But if I could give advice to him, if I could give advice to anyone, that hell that you're in right now is only a moment in time of your life, and even if it's lasting a while, it's still only minute in the bigger picture of things. And you need to be able to go, okay, I can combat this, I can make one more step. I just need to start by making the first part of the plan rather than the whole plan.
Yeah.
And go, okay, that's what I want to do, and then what is the first thing I need to do in order to get to that?
Yeah, so okay, this is where I want to be. This is the first step to help me to get there. I don't need to know what the whole plan looks like, right?
And a big thing for a lot of people is like, I can't, for me, I used to be the victim, and I used to think, I can't get out of this situation. Like, I didn't like being a Boilermaker. I hated my job. I was always long hours. I was never there. I had resentment. Me and my wife were not getting along. It was just, and I didn't go, oh yeah, I can change this. It was just, I'm stuck. I have to support a family, right? It's not like that. You've got to...
we all have choices, right?
Your choices, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And you got to save, you can save 10 grand to start a business, right? Save 10 grand, you can start a business.
Yeah.
And get a loan and ask the right people. Just don't stop trying. You get denied the first one, go for a second one. Get denied one, go for a third one. Just make the steps no matter what. There's a will, there's a way, you'll find it if you look hard enough.
I agree, man. I couldn't agree more. So what does the future hold for you, Glenn? Obviously, you got the 5 kids, the beautiful missus, the amazing gym,
Yep.
you know, and an inspiring story to go with it all, bro.
Oh, thank you.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? What is the big picture for you, bro?
Oh, look, I just don't stop wanting to make this facility better, but, you know, whatever presents itself along the way, if there's opportunities, I'll take them. You know, I do motivational speaking.
I saw that actually, yeah.
Yeah, so I like to do a bit of motivational speaking, especially for kids that, you know, like I want to give that message across for them while they're young to give that mindset coming up and that they're not alone and that there is possibilities. And then also, you know, if there's shows that come on that they want me on to come on and spread the message of inspiration or motivation or whatever people need to make those decisions to better their own lives, that's where I'll go.
If you could use, before we finish up, I like to ask this question to a few people. So if you could use one word to describe where you're at in your life right now, what would it be?
Happy. Yeah, happy. Because I've figured out the balance.
Yeah.
I've figured out and just the balance and the reality of life and that it's not always going to be good, it's not always going to be great, there's always going to be hurdles, but as long as you've got a great attitude, you get up and you go for it, you're going to be a happy person, and that's simple. Like, it's not being super rich, it's not this, it's not that. It's seeing your kids when you wake up in the morning, it's hugging your wife at night, it's going to a place you love, and spreading your message, spreading your view in life to others. And if you're helping someone achieve something great, that's why I love personal training. I love seeing people go from coming in going, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'm not feeling that feeling good, to leaving the session with a smile going, I'm going to go kick today's ass. That's a win for me. So
yeah, man, I think that's the thing. Like, as a PT, it's really not just that about fitness, is it?
If it's just about fitness, you're a shit PT.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah,
There's so much more to it.
there
man.
is so much more to being a personal trainer, and that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, awesome, bro. And if people want to find you, Glenn, find out more about you, find out more about your story, where can they find you?
They can look me up on Instagram.
I'll put all the tags
Glen
and everything
Dickson
below as
Survivor.
well,
Yep. Or Survive Fitness Gym is our gym. You come check us out.
Definitely come
and
check it out if you're in
come
Mission
train.
Beach.
Yeah. Come do a holiday. Come train. And yeah, I'm happy to chat as long as I'm not already PTing. I'm pretty busy, but if I've got time, I'll talk.
Easy, bro. Well, man, really appreciate it. And what a random meeting, right?
Yeah.
Like, literally just rolled in here for a gym session. Here we are doing a podcast.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it when
Appreciate it,
things
bro.
come on randomly. I reckon
Yeah,
it's
man.
cool.
I knew I brought those microphones with me for a reason. Cheers,
You were
brother.
planned. No worries, man.